How is it going, everybody? And welcome to episode 10. We're now in double digits of the Brock the Buzzer podcast. I'm your host, Brock Kowalski, and in this episode, we've got a lot to talk about. From the Cavs win last night over the Orlando Magic, the Buffalo Bills getting a new stadium in 2026, to the Buffalo Sabres' improbable win last night against the Chicago Blachawks, a WrestleMania preview, and finally, why is Ross Chastain, in my opinion, the leading contender to win the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship? Just a reminder before we start here, all my social media links are in a Linktree link below. Also, you can like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Now on to the show. Cavs use resilience to get by the Magic. Monday night at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, it was a must-win for the Cavs as they took on the Orlando Magic. And despite losing center Evan Mobley, who left the game with an ankle sprain, and forward Lauri Markkanen leaving the game with a knee injury, the Cavs gutted it out and beat Orlando 107-101 for the victorious Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, Darius Garland led the way as per usual as of late. He had 25 points and 12 assists. Lauri Markkanen did return from his knee injury. He had a very productive second half. He had 20 points and 3 rebounds. Kevin Love played awesome off the Cavs bench last night. He had 19 points and 7 rebounds. And Isaac Okoro, who once again made some big shots late and made some key defensive stops as well. He had 11 points and 5 rebounds. For the gutsy Orlando Magic team, who are playing much better than they did at the start of the season, were led by Wendell Carter Jr. He had 15 points and 12 rebounds. Iggy Brosdakis off the Magic bench, he had 13 points and 4 rebounds. Cole Anthony had 11 points and 4 assists. Mo Bamba had 11 points, 4 rebounds. Markelle Fultz off the Magic bench, he had 11 points and 4 assists. Franz Wagner had 10 points and 6 rebounds. And Admiral Schofield off the Magic bench had 10 points and 3 rebounds. Here are my thoughts on last night's win over the Orlando Magic. Cavs looked lost without Evan Mobley and Lauri Markkanen. During that stretch of game action, the Cavs looked completely lost without their 2 other big men. Of course, Jared Allen is still out due to a finger injury. The Cavs just allowed Orlando into the paint like it was candy, settling for bad shots. If Mobley plays the rest of the game without injuring himself, the Cavs would have won by 10 or 12 with ease. That just showed you during that stretch last night how important Evan Mobley was and still is to the Cleveland Cavaliers' success. Garland shows why he's an all-star again. When the Cavs needed their all-star the most, he came through in a massive way, scoring the ball when needed, making the right reads to open shooters, etc. late in the fourth quarter, like he has done for the majority of the second half of the season. And finally, Windler over Osman. Cavs two-way player Dylan Windler proved why he is on this team again, as he brings something that veteran Jetty Osman doesn't, and that's defense. Cavs head coach J.B. Bickerstaff left Windler out there in the closing minutes and really helped the Cavs seal the deal down the stretch. So much so, Windler was awarded the Junkyard Dog Award, the team's way of awarding great defense, and Windler did just that against the Magic. And I wouldn't expect that to change moving forward. On to the second topic of this episode. Bills to get new stadium in 2026. Monday at the NFL owners' meetings, the Buffalo Bills were approved and will get a new stadium in Orchard Park in 2026. The Bills' new home will cost approximately $1.4 billion, $550 million coming from the NFL, $850 million coming from public funding, or to say it bluntly, taxpayers like myself, and $250 million, from Erie County and New York State. The lease of the stadium will last 30 years and is set to open in 2026, I'd assume close to the start of the 2026 NFL season. And here is my opinion on the entire matter. This needed to happen, as the Bills have needed a new home for such a long time. People may be disappointed that the stadium is not going downtown, but I'm not, because of this simple question. Where the hell are you going to put it? If you're from Buffalo, you know what I'm talking about. My biggest gripe is, where's the roof? I feel the Pagulas missed a great opportunity by not doing this, which they made official yesterday. They are not putting a roof on the Bills' new stadium. But, as I was saying, the Pagulas missed a major opportunity here, because it would have made them a lot of money. Also yesterday at the NFL's owners' meetings, Brandon Beane confirmed that the Bills have matched the qualifying offer from the Chicago Bears on offensive lineman Ryan Bates. The deal is a 4-year deal worth $17 million, and $8.8 million of that is guaranteed. Now, on to the third topic of the episode. The Sabres overcome a 4-0 deficit to beat the Blachawks 6-5. Monday night in Chicago, the Sabres did something that has not been done by a Sabres team since 1989, overcoming a 4-0 deficit. But they did just that, beating the Blackhawks 6-5. That now earns them win 23 on the season, and also the Sabres have now scored a point or more in 11 straight games, which shows you this team, if they keep building in the right direction, has a very, very bright future. And by far the longest topic of today's episode is, of course, the WrestleMania preview that I promised in last week's show. WrestleMania will be 2 nights once again, like it has been the previous 2 years. Thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, as WWE has seen continued success with it, it will continue this year and for many years to come. What we know about Night 1. Saturday. Night 1 is looking stacked with quality matchup after quality matchup. The first one that I want to cover with you guys here is Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. This is a matchup between two of the top women in the company. But I'm going to give the edge to Belair here due to the fact that she is beyond over, which means she is popular for those of you who are unfamiliar with that terminology. Over is meaning you're popular with the WWE universe, with the crowd, and she needs this, and she needs to be the leader of the next generation of women in WWE. Now on to the next one on my list here. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This matchup will be a hard-hitting affair, but I think this contest will underwhelm because both of these women do not need to win or lose this match. But I think that Rousey will win the SmackDown Women's title due to the fact that WWE can make more money the longer Rousey stays in the company. And finally, the KO show, or Kevin Owens show, featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin. This will not be a talk show segment. This will turn into a match, and Austin will win to be a proper send-off for a WWE icon at WrestleMania, and Owens will make this better than it should be because Owens always makes things better than they appear to be on paper. Now, Night 2. What we know about Night 2, which is Sunday. April 2nd is Night 1, which is Saturday, and April 3rd is Night 2, which is Sunday. The first match that I want to talk about on this night, according to multiple reports, is Edge versus AJ Styles. This will be a show stealer. Will be a masterpiece by two of the best over the last decade in the wrestling industry. But with that said, Edge will win here because simply WWE needs to push the Edge heel character or a bad guy character, for those of you who are unfamiliar, more than Styles, and Edge will work his way into the title picture once again. And now, the main event of WrestleMania, which will be Brock versus Reigns. This will be a legit slugfest, and blood will be drawn. But with that said, though, I got the edge to Reigns here to fully cement his legacy as WWE's most stoppable force in recent memory. Also on WrestleMania Sunday, Seth Rollins against a mystery opponent. Rollins will most likely face the returning Cody Rhodes, who reportedly re-signed with the company weeks ago, and Rollins would be the perfect guy for Rhodes to face at the show of shows in his time. Due to his time in rival AEW, Rhodes has proven that he is a star within the wrestling industry, and WWE needs to treat him as such. If it is Cody Rhodes, Rhodes will win this match and will also put himself in the title picture, because I think everyone, would love to see Rhodes versus Reigns post WrestleMania. So again, I will warn you, the WrestleMania card is extremely fluid right now. All of these match days or previewed, where these matches end up on the WrestleMania card that is 2 days long. Also have a SmackDown the night before. Also the Hall of Fame in Dallas, Texas on Friday night. This card is extremely fluid. So again, if I get the positioning wrong, don't blame me, because I'm not within the company. I don't have an inside source on that type of thing, much like Mr. Sean Ross Sapp, who you can follow at Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter if you want WrestleMania news headed into this weekend. So, again, this card is very fluid right now from what I'm hearing, and it could change on a snap of a finger. Matches are being made left and right as we speak. So again, I just gave you a little synopsis on what I think about the big matches thus far as we inch our way to Saturday night in Dallas, Texas. You can catch night 1 of WrestleMania on Saturday, April 2nd on Peacock in the US and WWE Network elsewhere. A little synopsis for you as well. If you buy it on pay-per-view, you're a moron, because pay-per-views are near, especially WrestleMania, it's close to $70, people. And if you purchase Peacock, it's only $5 or $4.99, and you can unsubscribe as soon as you're done watching the pay-per-view. It's that simple. So I highly encourage you guys to get Peacock if you're a wrestling fan, if you want to watch WrestleMania this coming weekend. And night 2 is also at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is Sunday, April 3rd from Dallas, Texas. Specifically, AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And also, stay tuned for a post-WrestleMania recap and all of my opinions here coming next week to the podcast at some point. And for our final topic of the show, why Ross Chastain has emerged as Cup title favorite. Ross Chastain, a no-name driver, a watermelon farmer from Florida with a brand new team, Trackhouse Racing, in only their second season, has now emerged as an early favorite for the Cup Series championship. Ever since Auto Club Speedway, the second race of the season, Chastain has scored 4 straight top 5s, in fact 4 straight top 3 finishes, and capped it off by making a wild last lap pass on former colleague racing teammate AJ Allmendinger to score his first of many Cup Series wins at COTA, or Circuit of the Americas, this past weekend. Chastain has been fast every week the series has been Chastain has been fast at every track the series has been to thus far this year, and so has his teammate Daniel Suarez. And I don't think it's a fluke, based on the fact that the manufacturer Chevrolet has been the fastest, hands down, with the next gen car. And that'll do it for today's episode. Once again, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And you can find all of my social medias in a Linktree link below. I apologize for the long episode. It's all because I didn't record this past weekend. And again, we covered a lot there. If you missed anything, please go back in the video and rewatch the video, because all your support means a lot, guys. And I'll see you very, very soon on the next episode of the Brock of the Buzzer podcast.